Alright, gang, today we discuss an interesting one, because an audit seems to have found that California is broke. I mean, come on, this is hilarious. Gavin, you have messed this one up. You and your predecessors. Alright, here we are. According to Audit, California is broke. Now, this article was published in April of 2024, so that's recent. An audit done for California's fiscal year 2021-2022 was published and has shown that California is in a very concerning financial situation. Filed 350 days past the due deadline, the report uncovers that California is facing a significant financial shortfall, with $55 billion more owned than the available funds. This shocking disclosure highlights the challenges the state has to navigate to fix the state's financial situation. While California has experienced significant stock market gains and notable job growth in the high-earning tech field in 2022, the state's financial well-being does mirror its economic prosperity. What? While California has experienced stock market gains and notable job growth in the high-earning tech field of 2022, the state's financial well-being does mirror its economic prosperity. I'm guessing they forgot the word not because this is about California being broke, so I'm thinking they meant to say does not, but either way, it doesn't matter. Anyway, it is reported that the state has $256 billion in liabilities than it does in unrestricted resources for the year 2022, showing a marginal discrepancy between its economic success and financial management, which tells me they have a lot of money they have to pay. The audit uncovered a major financial misstep, identifying that COVID-era unemployment fraud has cost California $29 billion. Oh boy. Financial concerns. California's budgetary choices have been met with scrutiny as the state adopted a budget that saw $234 billion in spending from the general fund against $220 billion in revenue for fiscal year 2021-2022. In other words, you messed up. So, in other words, you spent $234 billion from the general fund against $220 billion, which to my brain, I'm not exactly a, banker or anything, but it sounds to me like you have $14 billion in deficit right there. I'm not exactly a financial expert, but it does sound like you spent this much, $234 billion, against this much, $220 billion, that was in revenue. In other words, you spent $234 billion, while you only gained $220 billion. Which to my brain, even though I'm not exactly a accountant, sounds like you have lost $14 billion right there. I don't know. Let me know what you think if you have any experience in the financial sector, but this sounds like a $14 billion loss to me. The discrepancy showcases the difficulties in creating balance within the state's budget, specifically in times of economic prosperity that still result in financial shortfalls. Yeah, because you messed up. The forecast for the state's job growth has been notably reduced, from the expected 325,000 new jobs to just 50,000. Somebody messed up. This downturn in job growth, combined with the expansion of benefits, just as extending taxpayer-funded Medi-Cal, not sure what that is, to all... Okay. The downturn in job growth, combined with the expansion of benefits, such as extending taxpayer-funded Medi-Cal, must be like Medicare, to all illegal immigrants, bad idea. These people should have to get citizenship, or at least some form of, path to citizenship started before they get any sort of benefits like that. They should at least have started some form of asylum claim and have some path to becoming a citizen before they get any benefits from our government like this sort of thing. But that's just my opinion. California is currently faced with a daunting $73 billion deficit for the 2024-2025 fiscal year. Somebody's spending too much. Democratic legislature proposed slashing this year's budget by $2.1 billion and plans to spend $12 billion. In other words, sounds like you're going to make it worse. Or half the state's rainy day fund to address the deficit. Dude. Guys, what the heck? To enhance fiscal prosperity, the state controller's office aims to achieve timely financial reporting by fiscal year 2025. All right, interesting. Now, again, I'm not exactly a financial expert, but it sounds like California is spending way too much. I mean, come on, Gavin. Can't you try and work with your, legislators to try and not spend so much? You have so much debt that the state is seemingly broke. An audit would not find that California may be broke if California was in good fiscal condition. Okay? You're sitting there, with your state in massive debt, seemingly, and you don't know how to stop spending. They're going to spend even more. Because, look at this. It says up here, the Democratic legislature has proposed slashing this year's budget by $2.1 billion. That's one thing, but they plan to spend $12 billion. So, in other words, they're slashing it by $2.1 billion, but they're going to spend $12. So that's 6 times or so more than they're slashing it by. Doesn't seem like a smart move to spend seemingly 6 times more money than you're slashing the budget by. How about instead you only spend $2.1 billion while you slash the budget by $12 billion? That would be a good start. Again, I'm not a financial expert, but that sounds like the smarter move than slashing it by $2 billion and spending $12 billion after slashing it by 2. Because then you have a big problem. Big problem. Come on. And California is currently faced with a daunting deficit of $73 billion for the deficit for the 2024-2025 fiscal year. So in other words, what it said up here, talking about $50 billion, right? $55 billion, if I can find it. You guys can't see it because I'm looking at this again. But it was talking about a huge amount of money, and it seems to have increased. An audit underscored a major financial misstep. Fraud has cost California $29 billion. So in other words, they have trouble with the fraud issue, seemingly. So you got to fix your unemployment fraud problem. That is not good. And then you have here, California's budgetary choices have been met with scrutiny as the state adopted a budget that saw $234 billion in spending from the general fund against $220 billion in revenues. So in other words, $234 billion spent with $220 billion made. So at least that's what it sounds like, which means it sounds like you have 14 billion that you seem to have lost there? I mean, guys. And that's on top of the issue over here. Forecast for the state's job growth has notably been reduced from the expected 325,000 new jobs to just 50,000. Geez, what did you guys do to mess up the job growth that badly? I mean, come on. Man. I mean, dude. You guys. I mean, oh my gosh, man. I can't find anything where it mentions the 50 billion, but I may have been looking at something else, but either way, I mean, 50 billion aside, looking at this, it says California currently faced with $73 billion deficit for the 2024-2025 fiscal year. So you're sitting here saying that they have a huge deficit. And why is that? Because they're spending too much. That's why. I mean, they're saying down here that they want to slash the budget by $2.1 billion, but spend $12 billion, which does not sound like a very smart financial move. Again, I'm not a financial expert, but that does not sound smart. What were you guys thinking spending this much? I mean, come on. You guys really need to stop spending so much. It's hurting your state and the people that live there. You really got to stop spending so much. Let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear your input. Let me know what you thought of all of this down in the comments below. And be sure to subscribe, because it really helps me out. And while you're at it, hit up my Minecraft server. Server address in the description. We have fun there. So, hit up Reimagined MC on MC Pro Hosting. And I will see you in the next one.